Everybody doing? Are you all caffeinated? Have you had chocolate? Deep cleansing breaths. We're almost through it. Promise. A little later. My speech today, my presentation, is balancing function with emotion. This is kind of nice. I got to high five to Jenny out there. It's kind of a follow-on. There's a nice thread through everything that we're talking about today. This is all about user research, uncovering those hidden needs and unexpected delight in our products. And, you know, as design professionals, as product professionals, we all want to deliver successful products, right? We want to deliver best-in-breed software, right? We want to deliver amazing platforms, buzzworthy apps, sticky experiences, right? We want to have the best functionality, easy to use. Frankly, we want people to love our products, right? But the problem is we really can't balance in the digital world function and emotion, right? I mean, products have to be functional, right? If they don't function, if they don't work well, they don't help me achieve my tasks, my goals, then it elicits a negative emotion, which is frustration, right? So when you think about it, how often in a digital product, you know, you think about who knows what software, do you actually go, God, I just love this. It's so great, other than maybe Facebook, because we're all addicted to it still. So how does it make me feel? And when you do unlock that element of emotion, which really can actually only be achieved by doing user research, and of that, qualitative, not quantitative. I'm not talking about usability, I'm not talking about user testing. It's talking to people that help you unlock what that special thing is. We create much more meaningful work. I work at Smart Design. You heard my colleague Sean speak a little bit earlier today with Simprints. So our legacy goes back a long time. The ubiquitous and kind of painful, frankly, vegetable peeler. Ow, right? Ow, 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 you're in the kitchen. I don't want to peel 50 potatoes with this thing, right? So, you know, you think about what it takes to actually transform something like this. 30 years ago, Smart Design created this, right? How many of you have one of these? Right. And it's your favorite, my favorite, right? Now, the thing is that we could not have gotten to this iconic, hey, it's in the MoMA store, it's in the, you know, permanent collection. We could not have gotten to this had we not done the right rounds of user-centered design, which is exploratory design, prototyping, evaluative research, and test, repeat, iterate, iterate, iterate. Many of you know the story, and that is, it's that spongy black rubber grip that somebody with arthritis could hold. And so through user research, we uncovered that need that somebody really can't grip all those tools in their kitchen. So cooking was a task. So really the thing that's kind of interesting about this is that, you know, again, how many of you, well, we all have it, those little flexible wings on the side, you keep running your thumb over, has nothing to do with holding it. Doesn't add any more grip to it. It's through research that we unlocked something interesting. People just like running their thumb over it. You just stand there going in the kitchen. It doesn't help you hold it any better, right? So the fact is, we uncovered delight. So talk about a product that is functional. I can hold it, and that black rubber does help me hold it. But that little rib is just, what a nice little delight, a little touch. You wouldn't have known that had you not really talked to people. So looking around, see some old friends, some new ones. I'm here in Silicon Valley, and we know that technology runs the show. It's tech first. Now, okay, I'm looking at Alan over there. When we talked a bit, 10 years ago, I could have talked about primary and secondary research. We all nod our heads and go, yeah, it's really important, really critical. But things have changed, right? Because we have a fast-to-market industry and economy. And what happens with that, even though there's good trends, we've got design thinking getting introduced into our organizations. Awesome. We have really, you see a rebirth of investment in UXD groups in major companies. But what we don't have is we've gone back to going right straight to usability testing, user testing, but not really using the full toolkit of research to have more meaningful products. So you guys have seen this, right? Double diamond, it's classic. Most of us stay in the right diamond. I know what it is, so I'm going to keep solutioning in that area. The problem is, that's its intention. It was always meant to be the double diamond, dipping back and forth between trying to uncover solutions through research and then also then implementing it and testing it. So in a fast-fail marketplace, with agile methodologies, how do you make more meaningful work that actually connects to people, that people love? Well, MVR. You can give that acronym to me. I came up with that. I know it's really clever. It's adding minimal viable research to your product development cycle. So if you are working in Agile, there's no reason why you can't add a 2-week research sprint. Yeah, it'd be awesome if we all had, 3 months to talk to 50 people, ethnographic studies, deep research, budget, timeline. But you can get a lot done with 6 to 8 people. You can get a lot done with 3 to 5. First thing that will really help inform your product process. And if you only have time in your process to do a little bit of research, most important, number 1, is listen. I know that's pretty obvious, right? Okay, I'm listening. But there are techniques that you can use and infuse your product thinking, evolve your product through really listening to what consumers have to say. So one of the methods, and how many of you have used group chat before to inform any of your products? Not many. May have even been something Alan did a long time ago and started this technique. Group chat is a really effective technique, and here you see actually 5 teens. This is a recent project we did at Smart Design, talking about snack foods, eating habits, trends. This is where you can gather small groups of 5 to 6 people, and yes, we've got to write a discussion guide, right? But you're just really a light touch moderator. With that, you really get a lot of good feedback by simply eliciting, getting feedback, all the interplay of those opinions. So you sit back and let it catch fire. Let everybody talk about things. A leaner way to do this actually is you could do a small group of colleagues. So we recently did something for Sephora. Of course there's a couple of women in the office who just love Sephora. So let's gather up 3 to 5. Let's talk about our shopping habits, what we love about it, what we don't like about it. And that can help inform your product. A second method is co-creation. And a shout out to those GE people. You still here? You still here? I heard the buzzword co-creation, and yeah, I know in the research, or rather the software world, that it's like, well, we kind of know our product, so we're not going to really turn it over to users to kind of, figure out what we're going to do next in our future enhancement. But why not? Right? So it doesn't take much to actually let your users decide what their ideal experience is. Yeah, there's some stimuli, which are those little visual cards that you have to create, but when you put somebody down there at that paper, they're coming up with that app, the experience, the software product, and give them some ideas and leave some sticky notes and pens. You'd be amazed at what you get from that. You can do this as a 30-minute sort of build your own session. You can also make it a little leaner by talking to fewer people. The next thing that's very important to do is observe. And I think some other speakers today talked about just really getting out, I think that was Jenny, getting out of your element. So the important thing is we all do observe, but I'm talking about sort of a deep observation. Without any coaching, how do people really use stuff, experience stuff? You really want to meet people where they are. So in another world of rigorous research, you're probably actually lining up 8, 12, 24 people, 2-hour sessions. They're all recruited. You're probably in a store. You're in their homes. You're talking to them about their habits. How can you do this in a lean way? It's called an intercept. Sephora, we went into the store. We were able to recruit or enlist 5 to 8 individuals, call a shop along. So it's 30 minutes of really walking around with them. Why are you buying that? What makes you want that product? Is there something that could help you in that purchase decision? It's great feedback. To make it leaner, you could make it 15-minute chats, 3 to 5 individuals. It's amazing what you get out of these techniques. And it doesn't have to be a giant long process that takes forever, that takes a lot to analyze and synthesize the results. Another thing is the experience audit. So go out in the field. So at Smart Design, we've done a lot of things with mobility, with New York City Taxi. We got in taxi cabs with people. You mind if I share a ride with you? Can I ask you, what's it like? What do you think about, being in taxis? Get in an Uber. What do you think? What do you think about this ride? What do you think about the tools? And if you don't get out there and just ask people, just take it in, observe it. How do they interact in that car, in that setting, doing some city bike share project? How do you interact with those interfaces? Study it. Ask a lot of questions. It can be unscripted. So if you can recruit 5 participants in a lean way, you can have them even have 5 apps on the table. See how they interact with it. If you want to do something leaner, you can actually kind of gather people into groups, make it much more like a group chat again. And so, third point is understand. And I know in a lot of the student work that we saw, people were talking to maybe 1 or 2 experts. But fact is, you actually need to talk to a lot more. To inform your work, we all talk about SME interviews, subject matter expert, right? But fact is, we need to talk to many more, like 6 to 8, 8 to 12. We talk about Grace, for example, the medical, designing for the medical field and healthcare. You better be talking to a lot of people, and I can't say enough about that expert interview, because say, for example, you are doing a product like stopping smoking, some kind of app for that, and you can go to 8 physicians or a range of medical professionals. The kind of information you're going to get will actually encompass the patient, the people who are receiving the care, the end user. And it will, of course, go to the end user, but you can get a lot of really good information simply by going to those experts. So a lean way, of course, is to conduct 6 to 8 of these, 60 minutes. A leaner way is create a panel. So we do that a lot in anything that we do at Smart Design, especially for medical, is to have a panel that originally we start out, they're part of our project, and then throughout the process, we keep engaging them. Hey, so Joe, what do you think about this? Mark, can you give us some feedback on that? And they're all happy, they're our board. They're our board on a project. People are happy to give information, it keeps it very informed. Another technique, of course, is extreme users. So how many of you have heard inclusive design? Yeah, universal design, but you can actually get to the middle of it. So Smart Design is the one who coined the phrase universal design way back in the day. We can get to that midpoint by going to extreme users or expert users. So say we're doing a cooking app. We might bring in the novice and the very expert. And by getting those opinions, we bridge the gap. It's a leaner way to get to a sweet spot and find that emotional connection. So we might conduct 60-minute interviews, 3 people on the very expert side, 3 on the novice. And a leaner way is to kind of, again, package it in the group chat method. So how do these techniques actually all come together to really tease out that emotional connection and balance function and emotion? Well, this is the case of a new product for Schneider Electric. It is, again, in the time of Nest, so they are an energy management system. They had already been in the process of developing a smart thermostat, but Nest came to the market. They knew they had to do something more. And Nest is a slick product, right? Right down the street, I won't say anything bad, it's great. But in this case, we used techniques like co-creation. And without something like co-creation, I think we wouldn't have teased out something that really made it special and different. So the thing that came out of it, now how many people had a hard time waking up this morning? I did. Wouldn't it have been nice to click a little button on your phone and warm it up just a little bit? Maybe it's a cold morning, you want just to be warm enough or you went for a run on a hot day, right? And you want to come back and you just want to feel really cool just for about 15 minutes. Well, that's what this thing is. And that came from co-creation. The idea that there's a 15-minute cool or heat burst that allows your thermostat to kind of throw some heat, throw some cool into your place just for that bit, and then it returns to its setting, which is pretty awesome. It's a loved feature. And I said loved, an emotional response, right? So Wiser Air, top seller at Amazon, and now voice activated as well, so some great stuff that happened with that. Oh, and the Elemental Light. Woo! Ooh, glowing lights. So the interesting that happened with this is that we did help with the form factor, the physical product design, and the interface design, but that glowing light on the wall became a geek thing. You should see all the reports on this. People are just crazy for the fact that Cool Burst is on. I'm going to get a blue light. It's green. Energy mode. And so something like that added a really cool thing that people kind of get excited about. So when you talk about balance, you know, it's functional. It's a pretty awesome smart thermostat, but you've actually added an element that's so sticky that people just want to keep using it. And that's great. It made a more meaningful product. And I think we all want to do that. So just kind of, you know, closing it out, don't forget to listen. There's plenty of ways to gather lean or leaner, or very rigorous if you have the time and budget, to just put it to the user, the end consumer, what I actually like to say, people. Have them talk about it. Get their unsolicited, get their unfiltered opinions, right? Get as much intel as you can without coaching. Observe. Just have them use stuff and see what happens. Inform your own product thinking because they've actually unguidedly picked something and you see that they're struggling. You're like, I see that. And then understand. Seek the people who really know a lot about a subject and have them be part of your team, a board, or something that throughout the process can help inform your whole process and help you make a more meaningful product. And with that, I say thank you. Looking over here to the time lady. Do I have time for a question or two? Okay. Now she asks that when you're starting out, do you kind of script what the question should be, or do you let it go freestyle? And the answer is, it's always scripted. But then you can go off script. So at any point, you always have to write a discussion guide. Now, obviously, because in the agency world, you've got clients. Perhaps if you were in-house, you're your own client. But you do need to have enough of a script to follow so that you can ask better questions. And what happens is you'll find in that group chat, suddenly it takes off. You didn't even ask that question. And those 5 ladies are just talking about all kinds of stuff. And you're just writing notes, you're writing notes, because you didn't ask the question. It just wildfire around, and that's what is great. It's impulsive, it's great, it's fluid, it's fun. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, everybody.